Welcome to Inside 7 on Your Side. Coming up.
Let's get up there and take a look.
What's he doing on the roof?
This looks like this is eroded here.
We go as high as it takes to solve the problem.
Plus.
I don't know what hit my head, but I made a check out for $5,500.
Hi, I'm Ross McLaughlin from 7 on Your Side. We'd like to talk to you about Minnie Dupree. Why did you take her $5,500 and take her to the bank?
Am I being recorded? Get on my face, man.
7 on Your Side is the best. Smells really bad.
You don't do that.
I guess you can't talk to us now, huh?
I think it was a setup. It was a trick.
You did a great job.
And now, Inside 7 on Your Side with Ross and Sean.
I'm Ross, that'll be me. Good evening.
Hi everybody, Sean Hoder. Welcome to Inside 7 on Your Side.
Now, I've got a rant coming up tonight, and we've got a guest.
Oh, watch out. Then we have a guest, a very important guest for a lot of people out there. There's Debbie Jensen right there.
Hey, Debbie.
At HomeWithDebbie.com. Hey, Debbie. Phone number 703-387-1020. Ross, why is that so important today especially?
Get your questions ready for Debbie. She's a former broker and also a real estate agent at 703-387-1020. It's really important because the credit market is tightening up. Lines of credit are being cut off. Home equity loans are being cut short. We're going to talk all about that. It happened to me, and I want to talk about it, and I want to tell you why I'm upset.
Yep, the rant's coming. But
that's coming later.
But also, Ross, credit cards, too. People out there with credit cards.
We're
There's
going
some
to talk
issue
about
with credit
that.
cards.
Absolutely.
Debbie's going to answer all your questions, so start calling in and get everything answered. Anyway, so let's start tonight with a story that shows just how easy it is to fall for tricks pulled by contractors. Now, they're not all bad, but there are some out there that might manipulate the situation. But don't worry, that's what Ross is for.
Well, we hope that sometimes we can get the job done, and it seems like the sky was the limit on this job. A D.C. woman says that she felt very intimidated and forced to pay thousands of dollars more for a job than she should have, and after the contractors were gone, she called us for help.
I showed him that the water was coming down in the right corner over there.
Minnie Dupree had a leak in the back room of her Washington home.
I kept flipping these pages until I came up with roofing.
She called a roofing contractor out of the yellow pages. After the work was done, he wrote the contract for $1,500, but
Mr. Park said $5,500.
$5,500?
And Lord behold, I don't know what hit my head, but I made a check out for $5,500.
$4,000 more? What on earth did they do? We go up to take a look. Minnie says the crew was there for only about 2 hours.
$5,500 for work was not done on my roof.
She says she felt intimidated. It gets worse. Minnie says they immediately drove her to her bank.
I think it was a setup. It was a trick, and I fell for it.
The company is Daniel Parks TA Painting and Waterproofing in Columbia, Maryland.
Right here.
The only door we could knock on was a drop box at mailboxes, etc. But we didn't have any trouble getting a hold of Daniel Parks when we called him and his crew out for an estimate. They showed up the next day.
You doing? You Daniel Parks?
Yes.
Hi, I'm Ross McLaughlin from 7 on Your Side. We'd like to talk to you about Minnie Dupree. Why did you take her $5,500 and take her to the bank?
He doesn't want to answer our questions.
What have you got to say?
Call me back.
We wanted the answers now. So how about the crew?
You got anything to say at all? You gentlemen, you got anything to say?
They weren't having any part of it. Later, on the phone, we got this comment.
Listen, I'm just a hard-working contractor. I'm just trying to make an honest living. If somebody's trying to take advantage of me, then, that's the reason I have my attorney.
But apparently, after talking with that attorney, Parks has a change of heart. A cashier's check for $4,000 is sent.
I'm going to deposit this right now.
Minnie is elated.
Thank you, Ross. Thank you so much.
Love a happy ending. When we spoke with Daniel Parks' attorney, he says his client made a mistake and was upset that he got himself into this mess. Well, fortunately, he got himself out.
It's kind of funny because one of the quotes from the story is in there, it says, well, if someone's trying to take advantage of me, well, that's my attorney's for. But you got a whole different story from that attorney.
Well, absolutely. The attorney obviously talked to him and said, look, I think maybe you better pay this woman off. She got the check, and that's the right thing to do. Here's a technique that we employ.
I was just going to ask you, what can we do? Go ahead. Give him a little bit.
Well, when we want to get somebody out, they're too busy.
Don't give away too many of the trade secrets.
Well, no, but they're too busy to, to do the right thing. They won't respond to the customer, but they're never too busy to come out and give a new estimate.
Jump right out, man.
Right. Yeah. More money, more money. Oh, great.
Well, we've seen that so many times. And so, Ross, if someone's in Minnie's shoes, and we love Minnie. I remember doing that story with Minnie. Such a sweetheart. She's one of those she's one of those thank yous we're always quoting as we're talking. We're like, lo and behold, I didn't know what hit my head. I love her. But what can someone do out there, Ross, if they're taken advantage of by a contractor?
Well, After the fact or before the fact?
Well, anything, give them some advice.
Okay, well, let's talk about it then. So if before getting us involved, you want to try and do several different things. In Maryland, you can call the Maryland Home Improvement Commission. They can get up to $7,000 back for you because contractors have to be licensed and properly bonded. Now, that's provided you hired somebody who is properly licensed and bonded, and I don't think many check these guys out beforehand.
Well, right. That's one of the things we always talk about. One of the very first steps you can do is Google. It's a very simple, easy step. Type in the name of the business you're going to use and see if something pops up, because a lot of times if there's something wrong, right away ripoffreport.com or BBB is going to pop up, and right there's the biggest red flag that you need.
Yeah, the Better Business Bureau has a great website now. It goes right across the country. You just put in your zip code and it'll take you right to the Better Business Bureau in your area. You type in the name of the company for a consumer report and you get the information. You can also call the licensing agencies in your district. You can call the Maryland Home Improvement Commission, DCRA, Department of Consumer Regulatory Affairs, or Virginia Corporations. Department of Agriculture monitors consumer affairs issues, and also they have a licensing department for professional trades. There.
It's a lot of info.
Yeah.
Plus, if you type in Google, sometimes the stories that we did will pop up
That's
too.
Exactly
so that's
right.
another
All right.
red flag.
Now, when we come back, I want to talk about what's going on in the credit market. Debbie Jensen will be here live to talk about the housing credit crunch, and she'll answer your questions as well.
Plus,
Let's get up there and take a look.
oh, he's at it again. Why is Ross going back up on a roof? Well, you're going to find out. Stay with us.
Inside Washington with Gordon Peterson, Saturday nights at 7 on News Channel 8.
When it comes to going bald, you now have a choice. Advances in medical science have resulted in the world's first and only permanent solution to hair loss.
It is your real hair. It's your natural hair. You wash it, you cut it, you swim with it.
Bosley is the world's most experienced hair restoration experts, having pioneered virtually every major advancement in the art and science of hair restoration.
I'm very satisfied, very happy with what I've done. This has got to be one of the best decisions I've made in my life, I'll tell you that.
Bosley Hair Restoration is a relatively simple outpatient procedure. The results look completely natural, and it's affordable on nearly any budget. Call the toll-free number now to receive your free, no-obligation information kit that will help you decide if hair restoration at Bosley is right for you. You don't have to accept going bald. Do something about it right now.
Call 1-800-499-5880. That's 1-800-499-5880. Call now.
Heating your home this winter? A fortune. But what if you're also heating your driveway, the sidewalk, the neighbor's yard? No, the ones you don't even like. Well, with cheap, drafty windows, you'll be doing that and wasting money. Save hundreds on heating costs each year with Renewal by Andersen, the replacement window division of Andersen Windows. Call for your free DVD and brochure detailing the window's patented Fibrex material, installation, and energy efficiency.
I personally want to make windows that I think are good enough to be put in my own home. And they look good, and they last, and they keep me warm in the winter, especially this past winter here.
Renewal by Andersen's high-performance low E4 glass is up to 45% more energy efficient. Get your free DVD and brochure and save $750 when you buy 5 or more windows with no payments and no interest till 2010. Call 1-800-771-5968. 1-800-771-5968.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. Let's push that phone number again, Ross, 703-387-1020. And why is it so important today? Mortgage crisis, credit card crunch, contractor issues, we're handling them all. But first, Ross's rant.
Okay, you know, I got to tell you, Sean, I am PO'd. And we know what that means. Now, this credit crisis hasn't just hit people in subprimes. This credit crisis has hit everyone across the board, and it's hit me home personally. And I don't want to go on because I feel like I've been singled out. I'm not being singled out, but it raised a very important issue. I got a letter last week from my mortgage company. My home loan equity line has been cut off, suspended. I'm no longer allowed to draw on it. And folks, here's how it worked out. I only owed 20% on this line of equity, and when times were good, the banks wanted to lend me every cent in my house house, every cent of value I had in my house, every penny of equity, so they can make all the money they could possibly make. Now what's happening? They've changed the rules not once, not twice, but 3 times. Let's take a look. Home equity loans. In the past, home equity loans, they used to let you borrow up to 10%. They wanted to hold back a cushion for themselves of about 10%, meaning you could borrow up to 90% of your house if you had that much paid off on it. Then they changed the rules. Then they wanted 20% cushion to protect themselves in case of a downward market. Now what have they done? The banks will not give you a home equity line unless you have at least 40%. Okay, they're going to hold back 40% equity. How many people have paid off their houses? How many people only owe 50% on the mortgages? Exactly, and that's the point. It is getting tight. Now,
what did you have, bad credit?
I have great credit. It's perfect, almost perfect credit, and I've never missed a payment. And what they're doing right now, and I'm afraid this is going to backfire on them eventually, because I'm not going to forget this. When times turn around, I'm going to remember this mortgage company and how they put me in a bind because I don't have emergency credit anymore. Anyway, let's go to Debbie Jensen, who is a former broker, also a real estate agent. Debbie, you are sharp when it comes to numbers, and I want to ask you a little bit about this credit, how difficult it is out there getting credit.
You're right, it is very difficult. Banks are tightening up because they've incurred huge losses, and so they're afraid.
Well, what's going on? What are you hearing? You've dealt with this issue before. Let's talk about that, Debbie. I mean, when we talk about some lines of equity and the amount of money you have in your home, how fair is that to consumers to not be able to draw on that anymore?
Oh, it's very unfair, plus to make such a dramatic change, because you're right, most people do not have that amount of equity. The real issue for the bank is that if you default, they are never going to get paid off. And so they've seen many people default on their first mortgage, and so they've tightened up so much on the home equities because they lose their shirts on those.
Well, Debbie, I understand that they're going to change the stipulations now. I understand that the market's a little different, Ross, than it has been. But what I don't get is someone like in your situation, how do they have the right to go back and change the rules of say, Ross's situation and say, look, we're going to say no longer are you allowed to borrow this much, but what you've borrowed so far, that's it. Now, how can they change the rules? I don't get it.
There's an old saying that people with the money make the rules.
Yeah. You got that right. How can they do that?
They can do it very arbitrarily. If they want to change something, they just change the formula. They say your house is worth much less than.
But it's in writing, Debbie. How do they get around that? Ross, I don't get it.
How do they suspend me from drawing a line of credit when I only owe 20%?
You signed it. You signed it, right? It's a signed agreement, and they change it. Doesn't make sense.
All they have to do is say your house is worth much less than it was when you took the line.
Okay, but they also changed the rules, and now they suspended it. Now, how realistic is it for people to have 50% equity in their homes? How many people out there actually owe less than 50%? Because bottom line here,
wish it was me.
Right. You're talking about a 60% loan to value ratio, right?
That's correct.
So you're not getting any money unless you owe less than 60% on your house.
That's right, and very few people fit that scenario.
Where are they going? Where are they getting their money? Where are people getting their emergency funds?
They're not getting any money. That's the key.
Well, what about credit cards then? Let's bring credit cards into this situation. We were talking about it before. Can they do the same thing now? Can they say with my credit card, Debbie, can they say, oh, I know you owe $3,000, $4,000, but you can't borrow anymore? And the worst case scenario is we want our money back right now. Can they do that?
I don't know if they can do that, but they can certainly dramatically change your interest rate so that it becomes extremely painful.
Well, let's talk about.
Or they can close your line.
Let's talk about the changes in credit cards. All right. Let's talk about what's been happening there. We got some facts and figures on that.
Yeah, right there. You see it on your screen there. About 1970, Ross, 50% of U.S. families, they had a credit card.
Now 75% of U.S. families have a card. In 1970, most cards were the retail type of card.
Right.
Okay.
And now, Ross, they're the bank type.
They are the bank type. And I can tell you, I checked on Bankrate.com today, and the average balance for the balance transfer cards is about 13%. But who's getting 13% interest rate on their credit card? And you don't have any room, Debbie, to wiggle. How do you deal with that? The credit card interest rates are going up.
It's very hard, and I think that's why a lot of people are getting into such trouble, because they were used to always having these lines of credit, and now they're gone.
Hey, Debbie, I'm sitting here and on my phone's beeping away, and I think people are actually emailing Ross the hotline and the email that we have. And there's someone on here named Amelia Sanders saying, my husband and I are having problems trying to work with our lender to try to have our loan modified or adjusted. They're telling me that they will not work with me until I am more than 2 months behind in payments. What's going on with that?
That's awful.
Yeah, I mean, shouldn't they? I mean, here's someone, Ross, right now saying, please help me. My hands are up. I'm waving the white flag. I need some help. Someone help me. Debbie, what can she do?
That is just awful. Goodness.
Any idea, anything that she can do to get maybe another lender to help her? Any thoughts?
Well, there
because
is
why
no
should
other
you
lender
force...
who can help her because that's who her loan is with.
Well, I've got, Debbie, we had just a while ago a foreclosure special where we had people on here saying that they're going to help you, HopeNow.org, and you were on our phone bank, and they're trying to work with banks. So I'm going to suggest that these people go to HopeNow.org and work with the government's, Bush's coalition of banks that are supposed to be helping consumers. One more thing, Debbie, I just want to ask you one more thing, and that is with regards to the squeezing of credit. The home sales haven't really fallen. You were talking with me earlier and saying that you're still doing a lot of brisk business. How is that?
Well, prices are certainly much lower than they were, 2-3 years ago. But in our area, certainly, it's a very strong market. People are buying. In fact, a home in Arlington that I put an offer on, it was competitive and sold for more than asking. So that's still happening once in a while, but not anywhere near what it used to.
Okay, Debbie, thanks for joining us tonight and helping us out a little bit.
And Debbie, don't go anywhere. Keep those sexy glasses on. We're going to be coming back to you next. We're going to have people coming in and calling and talking about their issues. But now, coming up on Inside 7 on Your Side, Ross is going to go to great heights to get this consumer what he was promised.
And a little later on, corporate greed. What should happen to all the titans of Wall Street? Yeah, stay with us.
Kyle Osborne weather on News Channel 8. More local, more often.
When families are cold and desperate, this can happen. Short on money, without heat, they use space heaters, sometimes dangerously, to keep from freezing. They turn it on, they fall asleep, and disaster strikes. In just 1 year, there were nearly 5,000 fires caused by space heaters and almost 300 deaths. Homes are burning, people are dying because they're cold, because they simply can't pay for heat. I've reached out to Big Oil and to so many OPEC countries, but it was only Citgo and the Venezuelan people who stepped up to help, donating millions of gallons of heating oil to assist families who fear the deadly cold of winter. I'm Joe Kennedy from Citizens Energy. When the heat runs out, don't take risks with fire. Call me at 1-877-JOE for oil. We'll do our best to get you some heating oil, because no one should be left out in the cold.
Falls are the #1 cause of injury to senior citizens. Acorn Stairlifts has a solution. Just don't fall. Sit, relax, ride with an Acorn Stairlift, the world's leader in stairlifts. Don't let limited mobility keep you from going up and down your stairs, even outside. Call Acorn Stairlifts now for a free information kit and no obligation quote. Why risk falling when you can safely ride?
Our Acorn Stairlift is definitely more affordable than moving.
The Acorn Stairlift has a padded seat and backrest, safety sensors, stop the chair if there are obstacles. The seat swivels and locks so you don't twist your body. And the Acorn Stairlift folds away. It even works through a power shortage.
I was really surprised how little they cost.
Call 1-800-796-7390 for free information. That number again is 1-800-796-7390. 1-800-796-7390. Call now.
Welcome back, everybody. You know, Ross, a little bit of clout, 7 on your side? I think we got some. Here we're talking about an international building supply company against a lone Virginia man. Sounds like a little David versus Goliath, but with the help of Ross here, the underdog, victorious.
Well, it's the help of both of us. It's just that you're behind the camera most of the time. You know, there are thousands of consumers across the country who are fighting to recover damages from a shingle supplier called CertainTeed. But one man in Virginia was able to get results by going all the way to the top with a little push from us, 7 on your side, and some time. In fact, it was spring when we first got involved.
We had to drive all the way out to Boston, Virginia.
Yeah, that looks bad.
Yes, it does.
To get a first-hand look at this roof.
It stinks.
Martin Abaney's obviously frustrated with a 7-year-old roof. Why?
It's all stained. It looks like a roof that's been on there for 25 years.
He paid thousands for CertainTeed shingles that were guaranteed to last.
Let's get up there and take a look.
Something's wrong. Over here, we can see the problem.
This discoloration right here you're talking about?
This looks like this is eroded here.
That's why he's upset, and he wants something done.
Blowing me off, totally.
Because in 2 separate letters, the company denied his claim, stating the shingles contain no manufacturing defects. But we discovered several lawsuits have been launched against CertainTeed over some of its shingles.
This is a huge problem. We've received an overwhelming number of calls from consumers everywhere. There are tens of thousands of people that are affected that have these shingles. And what we found out is over time, these shingles would break down due to just general weather conditions.
Attorney Clayton Hallinan is now seeking a class action suit. In the meantime, Mr. Abaney sent this letter to the head of CertainTeed's parent company stating he would make it his personal mission to inform everyone, referring to 7 on Your Side in D.C.
Well, I'd like you to run it on 7 on Your Side and see if we can get this company to guarantee the roof.
You want them to stand behind the product?
Yeah, definitely.
Well, of course he does. CertainTeed's PR guy told us that a check was sent to fix the roof, but he wouldn't say how much. As for the class action suits, we're told that Martin Abaney shingles were a different type than those in the class action suit that the majority are seeking compensation, and that CertainTeed no longer makes those shingles that have been at the heart of those suits. Now, we got a man on the phone right now who knows all about the business of contracting. Jason joins us, a local contractor in Northern Virginia, for some advice about hiring a contractor. Go ahead, Jason.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening.
Just kind of confirm what you were saying. Always check with the Better Business Bureau and, you know, check references, get multiple estimates.
Right.
Never give more than a third deposit on any project.
But that's a red flag.
Yeah, but Jason, what do you do if they say, no, we want half? What do you do? How do you
Then you just tell them no, have a nice day.
Go somewhere else, right?
Go somewhere else,
Nice.
yes. And never, ever pay the balance until the job is 100% complete to your satisfaction.
All right, Jason, I got a question for you. How do you know, oftentimes we've given this advice out to folks. If you want to pay for the building supplies, people say, well, I have to buy material before I start the job. Best way to do that, make a check out to the building supply company and you have the material delivered to your home?
I often work with homeowners that way, and I'll tell homeowners that you can pay me for just my labor. And
you're unusual in that.
You can supply your own products. I love to work with homeowners that way. That way it ties up less of my cash flow, especially in today's economy.
Well, and one of the things that Jason was saying, Ross, too, now is a time where you can get a lot of multiple contractors looking for work anyway. So you can tell them, you don't want to take a third, or you don't want me to write that check to the supplier? Bye-bye, I'm going to go on to somebody else.
Okay, Jason, will you hang on the phone for a quick break? Well, I want to come back to you in a bit, okay?
Not a problem.
All right, stay with us. We're going to take a short break. We'll come back, all right? All right, coming up, should the men at the helm of the fiscal fallout be bailed out, or should they be in jail?
Let's Talk Live, weekdays at noon, only on News Channel 8.
Arena Stage presents Irving Berlin's I Love a Piano, an uplifting musical review spanning 7 decades of American history as seen through the hopeful eyes of Irving Berlin. Featuring 64 of Berlin's favorite songs, Variety said I Love a Piano was rousing and toe-tapping, and the Boston Globe called it a national treasure. On stage January 29th through February 15th at the Lincoln Theater. For tickets and special offers, call or visit arenastage.org.
So with Fios, I get the best picture quality, the fastest internet, and a multi-room DVR free for 6 months?
Yes, yes, and yes.
Nice. What about you?
The best of intentions.
When Verizon brings fiber optics straight to your home, you can upgrade your entertainment experience and get an HD multi-room DVR free for 6 months. Record shows in one room, watch them in up to 6 other rooms, even set programming times remotely. Try getting all that from cable. Enjoy the best HD quality, the fastest internet, and crystal clear phone service. Get it all together for just $99.99 a month with a 1-year agreement. Call 1-866-699-FIOS to get FIOS TV, ranked highest in overall customer satisfaction by J.D. Power and Associates. Ridiculously fast internet, plus an HD multi-room DVR free for 6 months. Call 1-866-699-FIOS today for this limited time offer. This is FIOS. This is big.
We know rising energy costs aren't always easy to manage. That's why Dominion's Energy Share program helps qualifying customers pay any type of heating bill. If you or someone you know needs help this winter, visit www.dom.com, keyword Energy Share. If you'd like to help, contributions are tax deductible and they can make you feel the very best kind of warm inside. Energy Share, always there.
Another high water bill, which is ridiculous.
She's been hit with extremely high bills.
At $1,188.
An enormous water bill makes a local woman feel like she's drowning in debt, but not to worry, because next week we step right in.
And talk about drowning in debt. From Wall Street to Main Street, the economy is the hottest topic right now. It most likely is at the center of tonight's presidential debate, which will be right here on News Channel 8 in just a few moments. But before we do that, we wanted to take a look at the people who got us to the point of needing the $700 billion bailout package. Wall Street CEOs. Former Lehman Brothers CEO Richard Fuld was on the Hill yesterday pleading his case. And what did he say? He says that Congress is wrong to blame him and other Wall Street titans because they lost money too. Oh, okay. This coming from a man who made $484 million over the last 4 years.
Well, the lost Fuld is referring to his fortune is now only worth $350 million in his response to the questions about it.
Look, I am not proud of the fact that I lost that much money.
The political beating he took up on the Hill caught up with Fuld when he was caught in the gym. We're talking about, according to CNBC, Ross, when the financial fallout hit the headlines, he was working out in the gym when another patron walked up and popped him in the face.
Oh my
knocked him out.
Well, I guess it's relative, isn't it? For 150 million or so, and the loss to, it's all relative. But when you got that much money, gosh, I mean, why you don't complain?
No, not at all. I mean, you're talking about, Ross, I don't think I'd pop him in the face, but I don't think he can really relate to a lot of people who are really feeling the pinch, people that are watching this show.
That's $134 million fall. So he lost about a third. But folks, have you taken a look at your retirement package lately? Are you taking a look at your 401ks? See how they're performing? Yeah, pretty hard to feel sorry for these guys. Yeah. All right. So let's talk about what happens if you didn't get on our show tonight. Well, we have a website you can go to. You can file your complaint there. We also have a hotline number. So go to WJLA.com. Just click on 7 on your side. Or
you can call our toll-free hotline, 866-236-3401. And if you didn't get on the show tonight, you can always call next week. Big props and thanks to Debbie Jensen of AtHomeWithDebbie.com. Debbie came in all the way down from her home here to be in the studio with us. Thank you so much. Jason on the phone, the contractor. Call us back next week.
That's a show. There you have it.